Hey, how you doing? It is me once again, Fool83 from the MR2 boards. Well, Keith, Fool83 from the MR2 boards. I'm showing you another tale of the tape from the MR2 turbo that I've been building so far. Me, Fool83. Anyways, this is my 91 turbo that I've been building for a while. This is basically phase 2 of my whole setup. This is the hard top. Obviously, I went from a T-top to a hard top when I was building this car. I've done a lot of work to it. Well, let's get started. Get back into the car once again. There's the keys in my hand. Flipping it up. Into ignition. Turn it on to accessories first. Obviously, you can't hear that sound going on around me. That's the sound of my water pump turning on.
Wait, hold up. We gonna go and put it down for Texas.
Screw that. That'll be another subject. Anyways, yeah. Back to the air to water intercooler setup. With the accessories on, I have it wired into the cigarette lighter wiring in the car. And what I have going on is that the water pump, which is right here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, the water pump, which you hear right there, is what turns on to control my air to water intercooler setup. There you go. It's a Japsco, however the hell you say that, man. It's a silent pumping operation. This is my air to water core. It's a fluidine heat exchanger for a Mustang Cobra that I've adapted to work on an MR2 turbo. As you can hear it, you hear the water being circulated through. Circulated through. There we go. You can't see it. I need to get myself a super mega badass awesome camera. There you go. Water gets sucked in through the water pump and pushed back out all the way to the reservoir at the other end of the car. I got lines running from the front of the car all the way to the rear of the car to help with cooling. Since the water has to travel a long distance, it helps out with the cooling. Then it finally hits the heat exchanger, where it really cools it. It gets sent back to the reservoir itself. So when the intercooler is pulling water in, it's pulling cool water from the reservoir itself. But I have the cold water coming from the heat exchanger to the pump, you know, to extend pump life. Instead of the pump getting a bunch of hot water, it'll get cool water. So that's kind of the trade-off, really. At least that's how I have it set up, and I could always change the setup in one way or another. Anyway, here's the core. Here's the little tiny reservoir. I can go with a bigger reservoir at any point in time, but I'm sticking with this one for right now, just to see how it works out. I got a filler neck right here to fill water up, and I can also use the reservoir as a filler neck, but I don't. And then I have a bleed valve right here, so when I'm filling it up and there's not, just to bleed the air out of the intercooler core itself, so I could completely fill it up with water, obviously. Anyway, that's the air to water heat exchanger. How it comes on, well, let me show you the wiring. It's not like super professional like how professionals would do it, but I approve of it. Right here, like I was saying about the cigarette lighter, I have a wire coming to the cigarette lighter, and I kind of just duct taped it in. Let me show you, get a light on it. I have a wire pretty much duct taped in. I will eventually solder it, but this is just to make sure everything works right now. Anyway, continuing. Pop the hood. here's the hood. This is how I have it wired up. Give me a second. I'm putting a rock in front of the wheel. What I have is a 12 volt. Is a 12 volt relay, 40 amp continuous. One going to the actual battery itself. Then the other three doing their job. You know, one of the wires being the ground, as you can see right here. One of the wires going directly to the pump itself, as you can see. The red means power. Black, which is right here. See, black. Black is obviously ground. I got that grounded to the chassis as usual. And the wire that actually turns it on, this other green wire, which is going inside the cabin, obviously the cigarette lighter gives it power. Okay, I let you know that works. Alright, test 2, fuel pumps. What I have in the car right now as a fuel pump is I'm using a dual Bosch 44 setup. This is the passenger, this is the driver's side vent. I'm not sure if you can see it all that well, but I got dual Bosch 044s. Let me turn them on for. Well, the thing is that right now I only have one Bosch 044 on right now. I'm only using one Bosch 044 because it is the stock fuel rail, if you can even see that. Let's go on the other side. The stock fuel rail with fittings and all. I fitted a bunch of fittings and lines on it to get fuel to run through and from the stock fuel rail. Right now I have the FP and B plus terminal jumped using the wire to make the pump come on without actually turning the car on, just to show you that it works. Here's the fuel pressure regulator right here, as you can see it. It's an aeromotive unit. I'm using this steel braided, well, not steel braided, but this Teflon line, that fire resistant line, going to the fuel pressure regulator. And then from the fuel pressure regulator, you see this blue line going back into the tank at the moment. I'm just showing you that the Bosch 044 on its own, without nothing being in the tank, can pull fuel on its own. Meaning you don't have to have an in-tank, you don't have to have a pump run, you don't have to run it in line with another pump in order to make this setup work. So yeah, give me 1 second. Let me try to set this up so you can see it all properly. It's not bolted down as of yet because I haven't decided on where I'm gonna put it yet. Anyway, yeah, put that right there. That'll be good enough. Okay, you can face the gauge. Yeah, feel the power of Hulkamania. See? Well, actually, no, we're not going to do that first. The thing I have right now is that this is also wired up using a relay, except I have my relay. Let me pop the trunk. The relay is in the trunk this time around. It's not completed. It looks like a pigsty and all, but yeah. Here's my pigsty. You see? But again, I'm gonna wrap all this up and fix it. Get it all done. This right here, as you can see, that is the relay that controls the first Bosch 044 that I actually have hooked up right now. The other pump is unplugged because I'm not running both pumps into the stock rail as of right now. I'm not planning on using the stock rail. This is just an example to crank up the car and check time and all that stuff, you know. Anyway, continuing. Going inside the car, this is how I have it set up. My own personal little security system. It's not really set up this way. It's just it's a temporary sort of thing. Pop that. I have the wiring that connects to the, see, I got two wires, the green one and the red one. And the way I have it set up is that those green and red ones both go to the relays that turn on, well, it goes to the relays. This is the turn on and off wiring that turn on the relays that turn on the pumps, right? So, and this right here, the old wiring that came off the old pickup, I'm picking it up right now with my hand. It's kind of hard to modulate a light and a camera together. Matter of fact, let me turn on this light. Anyway, let me show you. I pick it up, right? And as of right now, I have that wire wired into the stock wiring. Basically, this, you don't need this ground because it's already grounded on its own, so it's just miscellaneous wire doing nothing. And this wire is turned on the pump that is currently plumbed into my fuel rail and all, right? Since I have it wrapped up. Again, this is not permanent or anything. This is more or less just for test purposes only. Eventually, I'm going to solder it or just put a connector on it and have it connect, make it look a lot better, or make it a lot better altogether. But anyway, test number 2. Fuel pump. Now, when I turn the car on to accessories, you obviously know that it's already jumpered. Give me 1 second. You'll hear these pumps. These pumps are not exactly quiet. I'm getting up. Put light, put camera in front. Right. Now I'm finna turn on it on to accessories, so you can see how it responds. As soon as I put my little light right there, so you can see it. There you go, light right there. You're looking at it. As you can see, the pump turns itself on. I'm at accessories. It's pressurized, 40 psi. Hopefully the picture is not too blurry. But this is the pump pulling from the tank on its own. There's no in-tank pump help assisting or anything like that. That means the Bosch 044s can actually pull fuel on its own. Meaning you don't need a secondary pump. It can act as the primary pump. No trouble, no sweat at all. Anyway, let me turn off the car. Matter of fact, I don't need to turn off the car. I'll show you the FPV Plus terminal jump. As you can see, it's off. Fuel pressure dropping back to 0. Fuel pressure's on. Jumps back up to 42, give or take, psi, to where I set it at to begin with. Alright. Fuel pumps turn on and off with using the stock wiring as an example. And last but not least, what you all been waiting for, the crank up. Again, me stepping in the car. Again, Fool83, give me the deuce, whatever. Foot down on clutch. 2-step. Car running on Bosch 044 on its own. It's warming up, so this is cold start, but hey, it's running. Meaning my setup, as of now, runs. Meaning the T78, the Bosch 044, and the air-to-water intercooler setup is running the car instead of the stock setup. It is all on, even though it all looks jalopy and sloppy. It's the stock computer doing all the work. Let me go get a light just in case you're confused. This is just me. I'm not trying to be insulting or anything like that. I'm just giving you, just making sure you have no reason to question it or anything like that. There you go. Light, camera, stock computer, stock ECU, controlling everything. See? No tricks. no nothing. Stock ECU. I got a slight miss, but I already know I had to change my spark plugs, and the miss should go away. I just didn't feel like going to buy any spark plugs to do this right now. But either way, the car is running as it's supposed to be. There you go, you see, camp. Me revving. No strange sounds or anything like that, like knock or whatever. I got that covered up in aluminum foil because that area gets kind of hot, but aluminum does not transfer heat. It actually kind of deflects heat. So that's the only reason why I'm using that as a temporary solution to try to make some type of heat shield to go over this area. But this ain't even a permanent turbo, so I'm not even worried about that either. Anyway, the car is running like normal. Nothing really special. As you can see, I love it. You love it. We all love it. Back into the car. Look at the speedometer. You can see that it runs. Everything runs good. Got very little gas in it. Not really worried about it because it's not my daily driver as of yet, since it's not legal. I will be making it legal though, so don't y'all worry about it. I'm gonna do some videos of me flexing. I'll show you what it means when I say flex. Anyways, yeah, this is my car in a nutshell. So far where I'm at, phase 2 is complete, which is basically change the fuel system and change the fuel system, change the turbo, and change the intercooler system and get it to run on the stock setup, and also check my timing, which my timing is on, which otherwise if it wasn't on accurate, the car wouldn't idle or anything of that nature. It wouldn't do anything except, you know, fall out, act like it was dead. But that's more of a different subject I'll be getting into in Fool83's build thread. But like I say, as you can see, everything's working. No real problems or anything like that. Motor is just fine. It sucks that I don't have a real aggressive lope with these Kelfer 270s, but that also means that I probably properly degreed them, so that's cool to me. Screw it. But either way, this proves that the car is actually running and it actually works. You know it works because you're seeing it through this video. So yeah, Fool83 out.